Okay, let's have a look at the first couple of stitches on row 9 because they're treated a little bit differently now. So the first 2 stitches, don't forget when we've got the purl partners involved, will actually be, separate out those 4 there. So the first 2 stitches refers of course to 2 knit stitches, but also their purl partners. So that is what we're going to be looking at now. This is a very small little sample piece. This is obviously not full tea cosy size, just a small sample piece to show you some techniques. But the first 2 stitches of row 9 start to give us the effect, this effect, which is sort of reinforces the handle and spout openings. It kind of gives it a nice border. And if you look, you will see that the stitches look very, very different to the normal double knitting, and that is what we're just going to look at now. So they worked, like I said, on the first 2 stitches, but because of our purl partner situation, we've actually got those first 4, and they're going to be knit using both yarns held together, and we've done that already. Knit and purl, I should say. We've done that already, but it's a little bit different this time because we are going to just be we are still going to be kind of maintaining the number of stitches. We're not kind of knitting anything together. Let me just get on with it and show you. So on our chart, the first stitch of round or row 9 is purled. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my sort of set up for magic loop knitting, and I'm going to put my needle into the first stitch there as if to purl. My yarns are at the front of the work, thus, and what I'm going to do, rather than separate out the orange and work that by itself, I'm going to put both around the needle. Okay, can you see that? And work the stitch. So it's only gone into one strand of the stitch, the first stitch, but I've knit it with 2. So we've now kind of got this two strand stitch again. I want you to ignore the fact that it is a 2 strand stitch. That is still 1 stitch. Okay, we haven't increased our stitch count. So because we've purled this, we're always opposite. We always do the opposite, don't we, with our purl partner. So I'm putting the yarns to the back of the work, and I'm going to I'm going to knit what was our purl partner. It's very confusing, isn't it? Basically, I'm alternating the stitches, all right? Always alternating. So that little pairing was the first stitch for round 9. And I'm going to repeat that for the next stitch. So yarns to the front, okay? And needle in as if to purl, and purl with both yarns. Okay, so we've now got, let's have a little look. You can see we've got the 3 stitches there, all of them double thickness. Because we've purled, we've got to do something to the partner. So, and we're going to put the yarns at the back and knit it. Okay, so we've got 4 stitches now. 2 of them are purl and 2 of them are knit. So we've got a purl, knit, purl, knit. Although it looks like there's more stitches, and you know, when we started our setup we could turn that into 8 stitches, we're not going to. This is just going to be treated as 4 stitches and 4 stitches only, okay? And when we get to the other end of our first repeat, so the other end of our 41 stitches, we've got to do the same thing again at the other end. Okay, so that is all that those little 2 dots mean at the beginning and end of rows 9 and 11. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go all the way around and then see what we do on row 10. Okay, right, I will have completed round 9 and I'm now on round 10. So all we're going to do is sort of just reverse what we've just done at the beginning with those 2 stitches and their partners. So if you remembered, we started by purling the first stitch last time. This time we're going to knit it, and we're going to knit it with both, whoops, my yarn's twisted there, with both yarns, my cable's caught, both yarns held together again. So this is a purl stitch at the moment. Now I am going under both strands. Okay, so both strands, not one strand, both strands, and I'm knitting with both strands. Okay, so that still remains one stitch. It's not two stitches or anything like that. So I'm now reversing because we've got to do the equal and opposite. I'm purling the next stitch, and again I've gone under both of those strands, as you can see, and I'm purling it. So that's our first stitch taken care of. Let me get that out of the way. The stitch and its partner. And now I'm going to do the same again. So move the yarns to the back. I want to hold this out the way so that I can get a still of this as well. Hold the yarns at the back, and the needle's gone under both strands again, and I'm going to knit it. And for the last one of this pair, I'm going to purl it. Okay, so that's how we deal with round number 10. Now, as you work the rounds, you will be told on which row what to do with these stitches. But basically, as you carry this up, let me show you. As you carry this up, even when you split and are working backwards and forwards, all you're going to do is maintain that the opposite of what has happened on the row or round before. So if you knit that stitch, you'll purl it the next time. If you purled that stitch, you'll knit it the next time, etc., etc. It is, like I said, explained on the chart, but you know, that is the look that you're looking for. That's what you're looking to achieve. And provided you kind of set it up here, okay, you can easily use this as a reference and say, right, well, that's knit, so now I know I've got to purl it. And that's all that we're trying to achieve with that little bit to reinforce the spout and the handle. The last thing I wanted to show you when you've finished working these edging stitches, so you'll be all the way up here when you're looking at this part. If you look, there comes a point when those edging stitches stop and we go back to working normal double knitting, and I just wanted to show you how to achieve that. So when we first set up our stitches, when there were stitches like this with two strands, we actually knit or purled into each of those strands, didn't we? But we're not going to do that this time. We're going to just treat those just as we have as individual stitches. So there's only 4 there. There's not going to be 8. Okay, there's just going to be 4. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're on this back to our kind of normal main colour. So what I'm going to do, with both yarns are held at the back, I'm going to go into that stitch under both strands. Is that clear that I've gone into both strands there? I think it is, isn't it? Let me just get that to the end. So normal, both strands, as if I'm going to knit it as I have been, but this time I'm just going to knit it, I'm just going to knit it with the one zinnia strand. Okay, so you can see that's just going around the needle, one zinnia strand, and when I take that off onto the right needle, you will see that that's gone back to having an individual stranded stitch. Okay, so there's my knit, and now I've got to do my purl partner. And again, I'm going to put my needle through both strands as if to purl. You can see both the colours there, can't you, on the needle? But this time, rather than purling with both, I'm going to just pick up the green yarn, okay, and purl just with that one. So when I've purled and taken that off onto the right needle, you can see I've got one knit stitch, which is a single strand of zinnia, and one purl stitch, which is a single strand of avocado. And I'm just going to do the same thing again because I've got a pair of these, haven't I? So straight under the 2 strands, but just knit with the 1 strand. Okay, and purl again, purl again, straight under the 2 strands, but purl with 1. And then you will see you're right back to having just 4 stitches. The cable is in the way, isn't it? You're right back to having 4 stitches again on that needle, and they are single strands, not double strands. Okay, and then you're off and carry on just as before.